What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about a Scream video game, why I want one, what it could be, and just kind of talking along those lines. I've wanted to make a video like this for an extremely long time, and if you guys missed it, when I did my interview with Mike Vaughn, who was the voice of the killer in the MTV Scream show, he even said in the interview, and he talked to me even, off camera on it too, like he really, A, wants a video game, but B, he was pitched a video game idea that for him to be in it with him and Roger L. Jackson, but then he figures it was like a fake. It was just like a fan asking him, but he did at some point think that maybe it could have been real. So that kind of was like, oh, okay, maybe more than just one person, more than just me wants a game on this. And I really think a game for Scream could work. Now, granted, but again, I want to pitch it to you. I want to talk about what it could be, kind of mechanics it would be, but I do just want to make sure I say it, that I think the odds of it happening are about 0%, roughly. Okay, maybe 0.1, maybe 0.2, but and I'm actually an optimistic person by trade, but I know that's a very low percentage. It's just outside of and maybe if you guys are horror fans, you guys would have seen it. Like Friday the 13th, there was that video game. Predator Hunting Grounds, there was that game. The team that made Friday the 13th, the rumor is they're either making a Halloween game or a Leatherface game. You technically do have Evil Dead, the game coming out. That's like a cooperative, multiplayer game. So I guess it's possible that a franchise like Scream could work, but I do, I'll talk about why I don't think it'll happen as the video goes on. But one thing, talking about all the games I just said, right? Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, all these games, they're all multiplayer. And even when I talked to Mike Vaughn, he was talking about like multiplayer would be the way that he would go. Funny enough, I don't like that. It's not against any of you guys who would want it. It's not against him. It's not against anybody who could potentially make a game like that. I think a single player game would work wonders for Scream versus a multiplayer. I get why you would do multiplayer, like a Dead by Daylight makes a lot of sense, right? Obviously, Ghostface is in that. That's popular. You're playing with your friends. It's a horror thing. It makes sense, okay? So, again, I would not say no to that. But I think, and again, this is more like a gaming side. If you guys only watch my Scream videos, you may not know what games I'm talking about. But I would want some sort of, if I had like a dream game of Scream, I'd want some sort of like cross between Telltale, who's made like The Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, all those, and then also Until Dawn, which is by Supermassive Games. They're doing the Dark Pictures anthology, House of Ashes, Man of Medan, all Little Hope, all that stuff. That's the blend that I would want desperately, because I would want the more choose your own adventure thing. I think it'd be very, very cool, whether it's like retelling Scream, which they could. I mean, Telltale literally did some of like the Game of Thrones stuff. So whether it was like a 1-for-1 or 1-to-1 kind of retelling, or they just make like their own character. But how cool would it be to get a call from Ghostface when you don't know what's going to happen because you're the player, and you answer the phone and the dialogue is based off of you. You choose how to do the conversation with the killer. Now, I think that is more Telltale. And like figuring out maybe who it is, talking with friends, that's more Telltale. Then I guess how these things would impact your story, that's more Supermassive. That's more like Until Dawn. Telltale does do that. There's decisions that impact your game, moving forward. But that's kind of, so even if you don't know any of these companies I'm talking about, I basically want a game where you can make decisions. Like the game will give you multiple decisions you can make, and you pick one, and the game reacts to those decisions. Okay, I think that would work really well. Quick time events maybe for more of the like chase scenes, which would I think be definitely more Until Dawn, right? Until Dawn, really any of the Dark Pictures anthology games, more quick time events in order to like nail a specific moment, or you have to hold your controller still, or you have to like match a heartbeat to stay still. Anything like that I think makes a lot of sense to do it with Scream. And again, I guess the flow, how these things, how the decisions you make impact your game, that would be more Until Dawn as well. And then the Telltale stuff would be more like choosing what words, what phrases you're going to use as the character. I think that makes a ton of sense. And again, honestly, if you wanted to just do Scream 1 as a game, as like a Telltale style game, I think that would work. Or if you just wanted to do literally just a brand new game, you had Roger be Ghost, like you'd have to have that. You'd have to have the Ghostface, suit or costume, and then you could just have a brand new character. Or even you could go along the lines of like MTV Scream, right? With like Mike Vaughn. You don't have to have Roger. I guess you don't have to have Scream. You could tell your own unique story and just have it be, you're not confined to Woodsboro. You're not confined to, anything like that. If that's what you think Scream is, right? So I love it. I love it. And a couple other things to throw out there before I talk about why it's just not going to happen is there are, I believe, like fan-made projects. It went around the internet where it's like a couple people were playing a quote-unquote Scream game, but they're like 15, 20, 25-minute things. They're not, I mean, I'm not discounting them because they're better than I could make. I mean, I can't make anything, so anything's better. So, I'm not saying like they're pathetic or anything, but it's not, I'm talking about like a AAA, like a big game. You know what I mean? There are technically fan-made projects, and if you guys want me to play it, maybe I can, but it's been out for a while. Other people have done it, and it's fun for what it is, but it's not, what I'm talking about. So I think it's possible. Like the idea of how you can make a game like this, and would it work? Would Scream as a concept work as a game? In my opinion, 1,000, and not even 100, 1,000% yes, and not even again as like a multiplayer slasher kind of thing. I guess you could do it like that. In my opinion, that's almost taking like the easy way out, because I think the harder thing to do and the more complicated, but ultimately the more rewarding, and also to build the franchise out, would be like a single player game. Okay, that would be my opinion, and I think that would all work. The issue in terms of why it won't happen, again, I guess 0.01, right? Because Evil Dead, like who would have assumed that would have gotten a multiplayer game? If Leatherface gets a game, it's like, okay, that's a little, that's going off the beaten track. Like Halloween, and then again, Dead by Daylight's got a lot of the killers, Predator, Hunting Grounds, Friday the 13th, like they've had it. So like you do see these major franchises popping off. Maybe a Nightmare on Elm Street would also work as a standalone, like a single player game. I honestly think it would. But the issue is these things take so long to make. So I guess the biggest thing to me is like resources and how much you're putting into it. So like they take a while. Like a game takes 2 to 4 years. Let's say the absolute minimum it would take, 2, and then let's go, 3, 4 years at the most. It's a lot of resources. It's a lot. Depending on the size of a game, games can be massively more money to make them than like a movie. Like the new game Halo Infinite, okay, costs, I believe, $500 million, $500 million on that game. That's more than in my research almost any movie ever, right? Or maybe every movie ever. So, and that's obviously a gigantic game. A Scream game would not take that. It wouldn't even take like 100 million, but it would take several millions. It would maybe take more than to make Scream 5. Okay, it would probably take more money than to make Scream 5. So that's a lot of money. And then the resources, you'd have to have a team that does it and makes the game for several years. And the biggest thing to me, right, we always talk about, or I've talked about for like the MTV Scream, it's the best time to do it now, because you got Scream 5, and then if that's successful, you'll have a 6, and it won't be called 6, but you'll have another Scream movie, and then like you could do that counterpart, TV show. But the thing is, you do the TV show right away. With the game, it's like, yes, it makes sense because of all of the excitement. Like if Scream 5 does well and like the TV show comes back and that comes out, like yes, it would be a good time for the game. But the issue is the game would have had to have been in the works like a year or 2 years ago to make it line up with this entire upcoming schedule. What would really happen, and I don't think that happened, right? So I think what really, like the realistic thing would be movie successful, let's just say perfect world. Movie successful, you're going to get a 6 in like 2 years, 2 or 3 years. You're going to have the TV show come back, again, Dream World. And they say, okay, you know what? It may be a good time to maybe throw in a game too. Let's just try, let's try to do it. But the issue is like the game wouldn't come out for like 2 or 3 years. So maybe you would have the next movie to like match it, but really the peak of the, everything's going on right now. And that again is, by the way, is if it's successful. If the stuff fails or it comes out but then like things just die out, that's possible too. 5 does well, maybe the show comes back, but then you see interest falling off, and it falls off dramatically, and then maybe it spikes again for 6, and then it falls off again massively. A game sandwiched in there, maybe the game suddenly now doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean? So that's the thing to me, and that's the difference, right? Because you just can't throw a game together. I mean, a TV show, realistically, you could film it, You could film the TV show February through April or May, and it could come out in the fall. You do like a 6-episode, mini thing to end the series, like Emma's story, and then you're done. And you really could do that, right? And it could come out really fast. You could maybe get it all to come out in the same year. So you got the movie, and then you bookend it with the show. I mean, that's definitely possible. But a game, there's just no, unless it's like a movie tie-in game, which I don't want. That's not, anything that I want. Unless it's that, it's just not gonna happen, right? And then again, you have to, I guess, wonder, is the franchise popular enough? I mean, if you're gonna make like a Leatherface game, you couldn't make a Scream one. Again, like Friday the 13th makes sense. That's a huge one. Dead by Daylight just kind of borrows things, and they do it very, very well. But I do think it's possible. I do think it would work like easily. I just don't think it's necessarily gonna happen. But it's fun to talk about. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all of these videos go up. If you guys want to follow me anywhere else, I have a Twitter. I have a second channel. I also have Patreon and YouTube memberships. If you guys want to support us in any of those places, links for them all are in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.